99% of the U.S. population lives within listening range of at least one public media station. And everyone can listen to NPR podcasts free of charge. That means you get completely unpaywalled access to stories, prize-winning reporting, and shows that represent the voices in every corner of the country. Hear the bigger picture every day on NPR.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. And we're broadcasting this week, you ready for this? From the Center for the Definition of Afterlife Destinations here at Car Talk Plaza.
The definition of afterlife destinations. Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever you say.
Well, here's one we came across recently. The Vice President of Dealer Relations for Chrysler, a guy named Tom Pappert, said in a recent speech that automotive heaven could be defined as the following. You paying attention?
Yeah.
Chrysler designs the cars.
He would say that.
Mercedes engineers them. Toyota builds them. And Saturn delivers them. My question to you is, what then is the definition of automotive hell? Who would design the cars in automotive hell?
Peugeot.
Who would be in charge of styling?
Styling, that would be Yugo.
Who would engineer them?
Chrysler. No, Chrysler would be in charge of relationships with outsiders.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How about who would build them?
Who would build them?
Who would build them?
Who would build them? Fiat. I think.
Well, I thought that Fiat would deliver them. Actually,
actually, Peugeot might be the dealership. I think the Peugeots should be the dealerships.
Interestingly, in your little designations here, no mention of Jaguar. Interesting.
The word will never pass my lips.
Just thought it was interesting.
Well, I mean, if we get down to specific systems, we would say, of course, that the British would do all the electrical stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And the Italians would do all the body integrity things.
Rust-proofing mostly.
Rust-proofing and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Actually, that's kind of that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't thought about it until this moment.
No, it's obvious. Yeah. Anyway, if you want to talk to us and you want us to think about something else, the number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Bill from Knightdale, North Carolina.
Hi, Bill from Knightdale?
Yeah, just outside northeast of Raleigh.
Got it.
Oh.
I knew you were dying to know.
We were, and we weren't going to ask, actually, but that's okay.
We were. I was.
So what's up, William?
I have got an 86 Toyota Corolla that's gone beautifully for 142,000 miles until the other day I took it to one of these quickie oil change places, and now it's doing funny things to me.
You notice I bit my tongue there.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything, did I?
Whoa.
I'm trying.
What were you going to say about the quickie oil change places?
I was tempted.
Well, as I drove out, I was thrilled to find I still had a drain plug, so I figured I was home free. But what happened was the very next day, so it was about 30 degrees out, freezing cold for around here. I went out and started the car as normal, but about when it warmed up, about 10 minutes later, I got a flickering oil light. So I immediately figured, okay, the drain plug fell out, or they didn't put enough oil in, or they put in transmission fluid instead, something like that. So I checked all those things, and everything was fine. Oil level was normal.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that when I start the car initially, everything is normal. The light is not on. But once the car warms up, when it's at idle, the light will either come on steadily or it'll flicker. And then as soon as I increase the RPM, just even a couple of hundred RPM, it will go away.
Well,
yeah.
I hate to be guilty of a rush to judgment, and I won't be part of it because I think they did nothing wrong.
Well,
there's one possibility
there is one possibility, I think, too.
that they put in the wrong viscosity oil.
Exactly.
That, if you would, for example, if you had been using 10W40 in this thing forever and ever, and they put in 5W30, it's possible,
which they may have done.
They may have done, and they would be within their rights to do that because most cars use 530.
Yeah.
Then, in fact, it could cause a weak oil pump to now have so little pressure that it could make the light flicker on and off at idle, where the oil pressure is the lowest.
Right. I don't think they did anything mechanically wrong. But I agree with my brother that they may have put in a different oil.
Procedurally, they may have done something wrong. On the other hand, we might be able to completely exonerate them because it's possible that they did nothing wrong, and what's really wrong is the oil pressure switch has just given out.
Okay.
Coincidentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I were to take a can of viscosity enhancer like STP
Or a banana.
and throw that in there, I reserve the bananas for my exhaust pipe. Thank you.
No, I
wouldn't be able to tell.
I wouldn't recommend either of those. If you're going to do anything yourself, find the oil pressure switch, which is located on this car right above the oil filter.
Okay.
And you can unscrew this thing, and for a few bucks, you can go to the Toyota dealer and buy a new one.
Okay.
And screw that in and see if that solves your problem.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then you really have low oil pressure, because if your pump is good enough,
Yeah.
it should produce enough pressure whether you have 1040, 530, 0W30, no matter what viscosity oil you have in there, the light shouldn't come on.
But it might be on the hairy edge.
Well, I don't want to be a Cro-Magnon about this, but could I just go back, get my oil changed, use 1040, and see if the light comes on?
It would be a wonderful test. And I think it's definitely worth it.
Okay.
See you, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Judy,
Where you from, Judy?
Pocatello, Idaho.
Hi, Judy.
Hello. Yeah, what's up?
I have a 91 Accord station wagon, and around fall, the hatchback started falling down. Whenever I would open it, it wouldn't stay up.
Yeah.
And so my husband ordered replacement. I think those are called, they're struts or something.
Pistons.
Yeah, they're air compressed or something. And
Yeah.
he ordered replacements for us. And they were expensive, and we neglected to go pick them up and sort of just lived with the hatchback falling down. And
You get good at holding it up with your head.
That's
While you
right.
take the grocery bags out of the back.
right, or the shoulder or whatever. But sometime in the spring, suddenly, the hatchback started working again, and it would
Right.
stay up just fine.
Yes.
And so all spring and summer, it worked fine, and we thought, well, it must have just been a fluke.
Yes.
Until the
And-
cold weather came back.
Yes, and then October, it started happening again.
You started getting those
And-
lumps on your head.
Yes.
And you wonder why.
I do wonder why, and I wonder, even if we get these replacement parts, whether or not we'll still have the problem.
No, you won't.
Okay,
No, what's happened is the pistons that are in there have leaked out. What's in there is a gas under pressure.
okay,
So when you open the trunk, the pistons hold the thing up because this gas under pressure is pushing the rods out.
all right,
And then in order to close it, you must overcome this and compress that gas,
okay.
which fortunately is compressible.
Yeah,
But
but fortunately, the weight of the hatchback is not enough to compress it if everything's working right.
All right.
But when some leaks out, the weight is enough, and the thing will either close very quickly or usually close very slowly at first. When the warm weather came, the increased temperature increased the pressure.
Okay.
Because if we remember our high school chemistry,
I do.
we should never remember our high
Vaguely.
school chemistry. But as you increase the pressure, as you increase the temperature, the pressure goes up. So the thing worked all right in the spring and the summer and part of the fall, and then the cold weather came, and you didn't have enough pressure. Now, if you're parked in the
PV
sun,
equals NRT.
something like that.
Okay. I don't remember that much.
I
but-
don't either. I made it up.
Okay, so if I do get the replacements, then it should
They'll work, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Because they will not have leaked.
well,
Like yours did.
the boys at the grocery store are going to appreciate it.
See you, Judy.
Thanks for calling.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Hey, the puzzler answer and more calls are coming up right after this.
This message comes from Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies. With Wise, you can send, spend, or receive money across borders, all at a fair exchange rate. No markups or hidden fees. Join millions of customers and visit wise.com. T's and C's apply.
This is Eric Glass. In Lily's family, there's a story everybody knows by heart. If this story had never happened,
all of us wouldn't be here right now.
Sammy wouldn't be here.
Nana wouldn't be here. Wally wouldn't be here. Anyone that we know wouldn't be here.
So what happens when Lily's mom tells her the story is not true? This American Life, surprising stories every week.
NPR informs and connects communities around the country, providing reliable information in times of crisis. Federal funding helps us fulfill our mission to create a more informed public and ensures that public radio remains available to everyone. Learn more about safeguarding the future of public media. Visit protectmypublicmedia.org.
Donald Trump has an extraordinary approach to the presidency. At the NPR Politics Podcast, we're recapping the first 100 days of Donald Trump's second term, from his early promises to his policy decisions and what it all means for you. Politics may not always make sense, but we'll sort it out together over on the NPR Politics Podcast.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers. And as promised, here is the answer to last week's puzzle.
Well, first, what was the question?
Well, I usually give the question, then I give the answer. And like I said, I know you're not going to like this, but I'm going to have to convince you that you're going to have to like it. Because,
okay.
Remember my neighbor Frank?
Yes.
He says to me one day, you know, I have 5 children, and half of them are boys.
Yes.
And I said, I'll get right back to you, Frank.
And your question was very brief. How can that be?
How can that be?
I have 5 children, and half of them are boys.
Now, people immediately start thinking about dogs, cats, canaries, and the like, and figure somehow or another he's you know. And,
5.
I mean, how can you have 5 and then half? Right? Does he have half a boy?
I don't know.
Well, he does.
Oh.
And it would be correct to say that 10% of them are boys. 60% of them are boys. And 100% of them are boys.
Oh!
Therefore,
they're all boys.
They're all boys. Half of them are boys, are they not?
I don't like it.
I knew you wouldn't.
I don't.
But our winner liked it. Who's our winner?
Well, I'm not going to send this person anything. The winner is Barbara Beck from the Cats in California, Los Gatos, California. And for having her correct answer chosen at random from among all the right answers we got, you're not going to get anything, Barbara, because that was a stupid puzzler. And if you got the answer right, you are not going to get one of our
It is not a stupid puzzler.
10th anniversary Car Talk t-shirts.
Let's have a show of groans. Let's have a show of groans from the studio.
Everybody, the whole studio audience, both of them.
All right.
I think, okay, but what we will send you, Barbara, is a T-shirt that says, celebrating 10 years of bad puzzlers. Congratulations, Barbara Beck from Los Gatos, California.
Los Gatos, huh?
Los Gatos. That's how we say it out there.
The Gates.
That's how we say it out in California, man.
Los Gatos, huh?
Los Gatos.
Okay, anyway, we'll
Los
have a brand new
Gatos.
puzzler coming up in the third half of today's show. And I promise it'll be better than this one, so don't touch that dial.
Jeez.
In the meantime, we'll take your calls at 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on what? Car Talk.
Hi, my name's Jim.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
Well, I'm fine. How about yourself?
Jim, where are you calling from, Jim?
I'm calling from Millwood, Virginia.
Millwood.
Sounds like a mill town.
It was once. We have a mill.
Yeah.
We have a mill.
Hence
Yeah,
the
it
name
doesn't mill anymore, but
Wood
it's still a
Mill, Virginia.
Yeah.
So what's up?
I have a Ford Explorer. It's a 94. It's got about 50,000 miles on it.
15?
50.
50.
Yeah, 50,000 miles. And it's got an intermittent problem. What'll happen is you'll be driving along on a perfectly flat space of road, and it'll start to knock. And if you're going up a hill, the knock can be incapacitating. It can sound like gunshots. Well, not gunshots, but it's really loud inside the engine, and you lose power, and all I've been able to do in those cases is pull over and turn the car off. And generally when I turn it back on again, it's doing okay.
Really?
Yeah.
And the knocking that you hear on a level road is worsened when you try to accelerate on that flat road?
Yes, it is.
If you rev it up, does the knocking get faster?
Sure.
If I put in the clutch and rev it up,
Yeah.
there's no knocking. But if I let the clutch back out again, the knocking is still
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What? You put in the clutch and you rev it up, the knocking goes away?
there. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Sure, because he's taking the load off the engine.
Yeah.
Oh, but that... But
You confused my brother for a minute there,
I
Jim.
had a theory, though.
I know.
Look,
Oh,
You don't hear me
another piece of
bellyache
evidence
like
too.
that when my theories get shot down.
well, I mean, it sounded so much like a stuck valve to me.
Hey, but wait, I've got more.
Yeah,
I've
good.
got more. Maybe
Well,
this will
forget
sound
what I
like
said about the stuck valve,
too. My dear sweetheart parked it on an incline, facing uphill, and left it in first gear, as you guys told us to do on Car Talk.
Yeah.
And without the brake on, and she got out.
We never told you to do it without the brake on. You gotta put the brake on.
That's all right. Just continue.
So anyway, she got out of the car, and the car drifted backwards. It went clunk and went backwards, and then it went clunk and went backwards again.
Yeah.
This is great. Now tell me, how steep an incline was it?
Oh, that's fairly steep.
Irrelevant.
No,
It's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, and I'll
it's
tell
not
you.
irrelevant.
If in order,
Jim says it's not irrelevant.
what the hell does he know? He's calling us. Now, if it were relevant, the only way that it could be relevant is if when the car slid backwards and made the engine turn backwards,
Yeah.
that it somehow jumped timing,
No.
and in doing so,
didn't.
perhaps bent the valve. But it didn't jump timing, and it didn't bend the valve.
I agree with that.
Because most of the time, it runs okay.
The problem existed before it drifted backwards anyway.
This had nothing to do with it, so you can't blame this on her.
No, I would never blame anything.
You were
on her.
trying
She'd
to.
Of
kill me.
course he wasn't going to blame it on her.
Never.
I mean,
He was just giving us data, man.
the first thing that came to my mind is that, in fact, I was persuaded by your use of the word knock,
Yeah.
and I thought it was really knocking.
Yeah.
But I've come to believe that it isn't knocking, that you have, in fact, a sticky valve.
Flabbergasted.
Oh, wait, so what you're saying is that
I'm flabbergasted.
this valve sticking then makes noise?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
physical
A sticky
stickiness of
valve
the
makes a
valve.
lot of noise.
What happens when the valve sticks in the open position,
Yeah.
the cam is turning, and the cam is supposed to open the valve.
Yeah.
Okay? When the valve is already open, all the valve train mechanism in between the cam and the valve has too much lash in it. So when the cam comes around to open it, it has to move all that stuff, and it slams against the valve stem.
Yeah, yeah.
And you hear tuck, 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 tuck,
Yeah,
tuck,
yeah.
tuck, 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 tuck. And then it can go away as quickly as it appeared. The valve can free up, and in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
the noise can be gone and the thing running smoothly. And incidentally, you would notice a loss of power because you'd be knocking out one of your 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd be running on 5/6 power.
But since you have now come around to my way of thinking, doesn't the fact that he steps on the clutch and revs up the engine and the noise goes away make you want to say, what?
No, not really.
Well, get out of that, wise guy.
No, it may not be a stuck valve. It may be a collapsed lifter. It may be a
It's
collapsed
not a
lifter.
stuck valve. No, but if it's a collapsed lifter.
Then revving it up like that increases the oil pressure, pumps the lifter up,
Yeah.
and the noise goes away.
Well, I can understand that, but now how do you explain that the thing rolled backwards when in first gear on just a reasonable kind of incline if there wasn't a couple of valves stuck open
Yeah.
when they should have been closed?
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
Yeah. How do you explain that?
Anyway, Jim, stick with me on this.
Well,
but see, all this it really doesn't fit together. A lifter is a great answer for revving up the engine. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It also explains the noise, but it doesn't explain rolling backwards. We can assume that the rolling backwards has nothing to do with it, but you must admit
All
that
right.
a vehicle with
I
only
will now
50,000 miles
I will
on
now integrate
Wait, let me,
everything.
let me just say, a vehicle with 50,000 miles on it should have plenty of compression to hold the vehicle if
Yes.
it's in first gear.
I agree.
That should never have
All right,
happened.
I have a new theory. You have a
Okay.
stuck valve. And you may have had a couple.
And a collapsed lifter.
No, you may have had a couple of stuck valves at one time. Maybe when your girlfriend parked on this hill,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
famous hill.
Yeah.
The valves were stuck in the open position, so you had a 4-cylinder engine instead of a 6-cylinder engine.
And bingo, you're
And
wrong.
hence the vehicle rolled downhill. So we can accept that. Now,
Sure.
when you rev it up on occasion, you are hitting that stuck valve with enough additional force to unstick it.
The pistons, the connecting rod stretch theory.
No.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. The other day, my brother discussed the connecting rod stretch theory. That when you rev up the engine,
I'm still refining it.
But that doesn't work. Because if the additional impact unstuck the valve, then when I let the clutch back out, it would stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as you let the clutch out, it starts clacking away again?
It starts again, yeah.
You're absolutely sure of that?
I am not absolutely sure of that.
Oh, Jim. I mean, the only thing that makes sense here is that you're wrong about the issue of when you step on the clutch and rev the engine, the noise goes away. And you just admitted under oath that you're not really sure that that's true. If, in fact, that's not true, then the stuck valve theory is perfect.
Okay.
Right.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
The question is now, what do you do about a stuck valve?
Yeah.
Well, you can try additives. There are various fuel system additives that will work.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Okay.
And it was unfair of you to be so harsh on us.
Well, was that harsh?
Never mind.
Hey, you guys are God.
Hey, Jim.
See you, Jim.
Hey, thanks for calling, Jim.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was a nice 5-minute call.
I'm exhausted. Is it time for a break yet?
Sure, why not?
We'll be right back with more calls and the new puzzler after these messages.
Hey, it's A. Martinez. Even as the host of a news show, it can be hard to keep up with the headlines. That is why we make the Up First podcast. Every morning, in under 15 minutes, we cover 3 major stories with context and analysis from reporters around the world. So you can catch up on lo que está pasando while getting ready, making desayuno, or going to work. So listen to the Up First podcast from NPR.
When Malcolm Gladwell presented NPR's Throughline podcast with a Peabody Award, he praised it for its historical and moral clarity. On Throughline, we take you back in time to the origins of what's in the news, like presidential power, aging, and evangelicalism. Time travel with us every week on the Throughline podcast from NPR.
At NPR's Pop Culture Happy Hour, we sort through a lot of television, and we've found some recent TV comedies we really like that you don't want to miss. And we'll tell you where to watch them in one handy guide. Listen to the Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast from NPR.
These days, there is a lot of news. It can be hard to keep up with what it means for you, your family, and your community. Consider This from NPR is a podcast that helps you make sense of the news. 6 days a week, we bring you a deep dive on a story and provide the context, backstory, and analysis you need to understand our rapidly changing world. Listen to the Consider This podcast from NPR.
We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers. And we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler.
Yeah. Okay. This, which you said, by your own admission, was not interesting, not folkloric, not challenging, but it was automotive.
It was automotive.
It's like John Wayne, when he was in his first movie, they asked his father, well, how did you like him? He said, well, he was tall. It's okay. Okay. Automotive is fine.
Here it is. A fellow comes into the shop recently, the other day, a few weeks ago, last year, I don't know, maybe about 9 or 10 years ago. And he complains that his Volvo, an older Volvo, is misbehaving. It seems to lose power. It sputters. It has difficulty climbing hills. And it's especially bad if the tank is less than half full. And we say, piece of cake. It's a classic problem of the intake fuel pump being kaput. Many Volvos, for years and years, Volvos have had a pump in the tank, which is a feeder pump, which pushes the fuel to the main fuel pump, which is located outside the tank underneath the car. Got it?
Got it.
So when the in-tank pump fails, the car will still continue to run because the main pump will actually pull fuel out of the tank rather than have it pushed and assisted by this feeder pump or in-tank pump.
But it won't work great.
It won't work great, and the car will suffer from poor performance because of the fact that it hasn't got sufficient fuel pressure.
Right. Classic symptoms that he had.
So he says, go ahead and replace the pump for $900. See if I care.
You guys are so sure of this diagnosis. Go ahead.
So we do it. Off he goes. A week or two later, he returns and says, Geez, the car runs great, but my mileage is down. You must have done something. And we say, of course, what's the first line of defense? We did nothing. We're innocent. How could we have done anything to affect your mileage? He says it's off at least 10%. And we say, well,
10% is hard to measure.
It is hard
you
to
say,
measure.
well,
So
fine.
We throw him out on his butt.
Of course.
He comes back persistently a few weeks later and says, it's down even more, maybe 15%.
Ooh.
And getting worse.
Yeah.
You did something wrong. Again, we reassure him that we did nothing wrong. He says, I know it has something to do with that pump you put in the tank.
Because it was coincident.
It was coincidental. So we
That's
go ahead and
interesting,
as a
isn't it?
courtesy, we check his emissions, which are perfect, the timing and all that
It's called
stuff.
placating.
Placating,
before
there you
throw
go.
him out of his butt again.
And we throw him right out. And we come to realize when he returns for the third time with his lawyer.
That he's right.
That he's right. And even though we did nothing wrong, putting in the new pump made his mileage drop.
Whoa.
And he was absolutely right. It was because we put the new pump in that his mileage dropped precipitously. The repair was done correctly. The pump was installed perfectly correctly. And yet, he was correct that by putting in the pump, we reduced his gas mileage. How could this be? How could this be? How could this be?
Yeah, it's good.
Now, if you think you know the
Didn't
answer...
have anything to do with the dead bodies in the trunk that they discovered later.
No, not really. If you think you know the answer or you just have nothing to do at work and feel like taking a guess, mail your answer to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238. Or you can email us your answer from our website, cartalk.msn.com. Just click on the Talk to Car Talk section. And if we choose your correct answer at random, from amongst all the correct answers, you'll get one of our new Car Talk t-shirts. It has our multicolored logo on the front and our new slogan on the back, celebrating 10 years of bad car advice. If you'd like to call us, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, guys. This is Kate from Watertown, right down the street.
Kate!
Watertown, Mass?
Watertown, Massachusetts.
How are you?
And I think I went to the same high school as one of your fine sons is going to right now.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Really?
And did you graduate from that fine high school?
I did graduate from that fine high school 2
And
years ago.
what state institution are you incarcerated in now?
Currently, I'm incarcerated in a fine institution in Providence, Rhode Island.
RISD?
Brown University.
Brown?
Brown.
Wow. Studying what? Computer science.
You can't laugh, okay?
Art history.
I'm studying international relations.
No kidding.
Yes.
I wouldn't laugh at that, no.
No,
Okay,
no, that's very
good.
important.
So what's up?
I'm calling you actually with a relationship problem.
International?
No,
No. Okay.
of a different nature.
Domestic relationship.
Okay, yes, domestic relationship.
Yeah.
I currently own this tiny little Suzuki Swift from 1990, and it drives me crazy because every time I try and leave school, it breaks down.
Yeah.
So I need to get rid of this car. I need to move on with my life. Here's where the relationship problem comes in. My boyfriend, who also attended this high school, who I've been with for almost 4 years.
Wow. Did you meet him back there in high school? You
I
must
did.
have.
I did.
Where does he go to school?
He goes to Tufts.
Oh, so there's
right-
a lot
right
of
up
traveling going on here.
There's a lot of traveling going on.
Yeah.
So he is deathly afraid of driving. I took him out for a driving lesson once, and we were driving around in my father's car.
And he was terrified.
I told him to slam on the brakes, and instead he slammed on the gas and rammed it into a pole.
And he took that as a message that
Yes.
he should stay away.
He took that as a sign from above that he should no longer be driving vehicles.
Cool.
I really want him to learn how to drive, though, because it's driving me insane. I have to pick him up. I have to bring him to his dentist appointments. I mean, this boy makes me drive up from Providence and get him in Medford and drive him to appointments. Okay?
That's great.
It's not a good situation.
No.
No.
So, in purchasing a new vehicle, my dilemma is whether to get a stick shift, which would make my life
Wait,
much happier.
he is purchasing a new
No,
vehicle?
no.
You are.
I am.
Yeah.
But my eventual goal is to get him to drive.
Yeah.
No, the stick shift is out of the question.
Absolutely out of the question.
Yeah, and if he can't
don't
deal
say
with
that.
stop signs and the like,
If he can't even distinguish between the gas pedal and the brake pedal, you want to mess around with yet a third pedal and a lever that has to be diggle around? No.
But I hate automatics. I feel like I'm driving a bumper car.
well, what do you hate more? Driving all the way from Providence to Medford
to take him to
an
dentist?
orthodonture appointment?
Well, I figured the other option is to train him in public transportation.
Yeah, what's with that? Why doesn't he understand public transportation?
He's too lazy.
Oh, no, he's too lazy because he has you at his beck and call.
I know.
I would refer to him, if I were you, as geographically undesirable. And I would start looking for a guy in Providence. Except all the guys in Providence are in the mob, if you know what I mean. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, he certainly doesn't.
I don't mean it in no bad way.
For any of you used that may be listening.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yeah, well,
No,
it happens.
that's all right. I mean,
But, I mean, you should consider that. I mean, as wonderful as this guy may be, he may just be sort of a flash in the pan, despite the fact that you've been going with him for 4 years, because, I mean, it's 4 years, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things.
It seems like an awful long
well,
time.
it does now, but when you're as old as my brother.
It's 20% of your whole age.
My brother spent 4 years of his life just smoking cigars.
That's all?
Maybe more. Actually, we
Oh,
should figure it out sometime.
Probably more.
Oh, so then here's the other question.
Well, I mean, I think it's time for a test, though, because the question is, does he love you, or is he simply using you to drive him around? In which case,
better not be.
It would be good to know that, wouldn't it? What if you started saying, I can't make it to the orthodonture appointment on Thursday at 2:30. I have a class in international relations.
Well, see, but I've tried that. I've tried the, cold turkey, I'm not driving you
what happens?
anywhere
What
kind
happens?
of method.
Yeah.
I just never saw him. And it was just kind of a bummer because I could never see him. And
Yeah, because, I mean, don't forget, I mean, there are buses that go to Providence.
there are. He's taken a train once.
Mm-hmm.
Once.
Once,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, it's not enough.
No,
this is a one-sided relationship.
Exactly
here.
what I
That's
was going
not
to say.
good.
Exactly what I was going to say. He is relying on your good nature and your affection to take advantage of you.
Yeah, well, we've got to talk to this guy. I mean, because I am worried about you, and I want to know what his intentions are. I want to know.
Okay.
Is he home? Can we call him?
He's home.
He's home right now?
He's home.
Give us his number.
Okay. It's,
Hold on, wait. We have to get off the air here.
Right.
Okay, we're off.
Go ahead, we're off now.
And that's area code 617?
Yeah.
And his name is?
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. We're going to get his number. We're going to dial his number off the air, so we want you to hold on and be quiet, okay?
Okay.
Here we go, we're dialing.
Okay.
One ringy-dingy.
2 ringy-dingies.
Hello?
Hey, is this Aaron?
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, you ever listen to the radio?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
This is...
You think you just want a trip to Florida, don't you?
You didn't win squat. This is Tom and Ray Magliozzi from Car Talk. You ever hear us on National Public Radio?
Yes, I have.
Well, we talked to your girlfriend, Kate.
Yes.
And I don't know if she's mentioned to you that she's getting a little tired of picking you up and driving you around all the time.
Yeah, she was a little concerned that, you had like a hangnail and she had to drive up to Providence to take you to the doctor and that you refused to get a license and you refused to drive. And
when she told us the story, we said...
Oh, we planted the seeds of doubt.
That, gee, this sounds like this guy is taking advantage of your good nature. And we told her we'd call you and discuss it.
Okay.
Do you mind discussing it?
No, I don't.
No, and she's not listening, so you can feel free to say anything you want.
Well, yeah, why won't you get a license, for example?
Well, it's a difficult subject. I did driver's ed.
Yeah.
I did all that stuff, and I was driving around for a little while. I was doing highways, I was switching lanes, I was doing all this stuff. But
doing all the cool stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoyed driving, but then I went away for a little while, and I came back, and I started driving around. I got into like a few little things, and then school started, and I got behind. Everything got put off, and then I never got it.
I don't know. I don't have much of an excuse, I suppose.
Yeah. But, I mean, how can you expect her to drive? I mean, it's like, what is it, like an hour and a half, an hour ride from
Yeah.
Providence to you go to Tufts, right?
Yeah.
So she comes to visit you,
Yeah.
yet you don't want to take the bus. I mean, it's really not a great...
I visited her before. I've taken.
Wait, whoa. How many times have you visited her compared to the number of times she's visited you?
I visited her like twice. But the thing is that.
Well, how many times has she visited you?
I don't know, but it's a totally different scenario because she's coming home and oftentimes she has stuff that she has to do here anyway. So I'm sort of a side stop in that regard.
Oh, so you don't think she's coming expressly for you, but she's coming to visit her folks, for example?
Well, sometimes. I mean,
So
she
she's
comes to
just
visit
being
me,
a
but-
crybaby then when she says that she's driving you all over hell's creation, and it's not true. She lied to us, in other words.
I would say that crybaby is a strong word.
But I'm in the right ballpark, though, right?
Well, it would be false for her to say that every time that she comes up here, it is expressly to see me.
Well, here's the larger question: if she said to you that she wouldn't be coming to visit anymore, would you either get a license or be motivated to take the bus to Providence, would you dump her?
I wouldn't dump her.
Well, I mean, she would certainly become, as we say, geographically undesirable. I mean, a girl who lives 50, 60 miles away. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go 50, 60 miles. And we're just wondering, would you take the bus to Providence every weekend to see her?
Well, I mean, every weekend is a bit strong, but I would see her.
Would you then split it 50-50 and say, look, you come up here one weekend, I'll come down there one weekend?
Yeah.
You would if you had to.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, then you passed the test. You're not a bum. You hear that, Kate?
Yeah.
Kate, I didn't know you were there.
Geographically undesirable? Guys, you turned on me.
Well, no, we had to do that to find out if Aaron was all right.
It was a setup.
It was a good cop, bad cop thing, you know?
Yeah, we had to. Yeah, I mean, we had to put you in the poorest possible light.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, Aaron passes my test.
He does. He passes my test too. Except Aaron, you got to get a license, man.
I know.
The thing is that there's no future plans of doing this.
No, that's not true. That is not true. I mean,
Now, don't fight, kids.
Well, but we have to get him back in a car first, and he's afraid of driving.
Not afraid of Aaron. You're not afraid of driving.
I don't think afraid is the right word. I've become a
won't
little
get in a
tentative
car.
because I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should be forcing Aaron to get a driver's license because I don't think it's really necessary for everyone to have a driver's license. But I do think you should share the travel responsibilities with Kate a little bit.
Yes.
Right, and we have you taped.
We have it on tape. So if you don't shape up, we're gonna have to come down and lay a beating on you.
So Kate, you can kick back next weekend, and Aaron will be down to visit you.
He will.
Right. Okay, we'll see.
Have a nice time, guys.
See ya. Bye. Well, it's happened again. You vaporized yet another hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug, the subway fugitive, not a slave to fashion Berman. Our associate producer and dean of the College of Automusicology is Ken Babyface Rogers. Our assistant producer is Catherine Crystal Ray, and our engineer is Jonathan Marston. Our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor is Mr. John S. Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Marge Inovera. Our director of new product repair is Warren T. Myfoot, assisted by our customer care representative, Haywood Jabuzoff. Our staff butler from the Car Talk Mumbai division is Mahatma Kote. Our document security expert from the island of Jamaica is Euripides Upman. Our East Asian used car expert is Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and our inventory manager is Mandalik Del Barcode. Our evasive driving instructor is Vera Brupley. Our junkyard manager is Ricardo Desmontalon. Our director of moral support is Hugh Demand. Our property manager is Deidre Restrictions. Deed Restrictions. Get it?
Deed Restrictions.
Deed Restrictions.
Got it, okay.
And our Leo Tolstoy biographer is Warren Peace, author of Leo Tolstoy by Warren Peace. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known among the out-of-work philosophers in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers. Don't drive like my brother or my sister.
And don't drive like my sister or my brother.
Don't drive like these two jamokes.
Hey! Hey, who let our sister through?
Get off the phone.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
And now, with a very important announcement, here is Car Talk Plaza's chief mechanic and chief bottle washer, Mr. Vinny Kumbats.
Hey, now, if you want a copy of this week's Car Talk show, which is number 7, here's what you got to do, all right?
Okay, now, I guess this is the point at which you give out the telephone number, Vinny, is that correct?
No, I think I'm going to play Sweet Adeline on the glockenspiel, you moron. The number is 1-888-CAR-JUNK. That's 888-227-5865.
And if somebody wanted to buy CDs like Men Are From GM and Women Are From Ford, or some T-shirts or other things, would they call the same number, Vinny?
No, you call Toyota Jackson at the psychic hotline. Of course you call the same number, 888-CAR-JUNK, or you can get stuff through the online shameless commerce division at cartalk.msn.com.
Vinny, I'm beginning to think that this sarcasm is just covering up your true feelings about me.
Oh, you want me to express my true feelings about you? Better turn off the microphone first. Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though Will Schwartz is puzzled when he hears us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio.
Imagine, if you will, a show from NPR that's not like NPR. A show that focuses not on the important, but the stupid, which features stories about people smuggling animals in their pants, incompetent criminals, and ridiculous science studies. And call it Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me because the good names were taken. Listen to NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, yes, that is what it is called, wherever you get your podcasts.
Having news at your fingertips is great, but sometimes you need an escape. And that's where Shortwave comes in. We're a joy-filled science podcast driven by wonder and curiosity that will get you out of your head and in touch with the world around you. Listen now to Shortwave, the science podcast from NPR.
Keeping up with the news can feel like a 24-hour job. Luckily, it is our job. Every hour on the NPR News Now podcast, we take the latest, most important stories happening, and we package them into 5-minute episodes so you can easily squeeze them in between meetings and on your way to that thing. Listen to the NPR News Now podcast. Now.